Deja vu. It's been described as a glitch in the matrix, a time traveler's experience, and even a sign of an impending heart attack. But what is deja vu really? What causes it, and how can we control it? The phenomenon has been reported by 2/3 of you watching this video right now. Psychologists Alan D. Pascal and David B. Eagleman published a paper where they proposed that deja vu happens when the brain processes an event too quickly, and the conscious mind interprets this faster processing as evidence that the brain has somehow accessed information about the event from the past. In other words, our memories are slightly ahead of our experiences. This mismatch between our memory and experience creates a feeling of familiarity with something new. Neuroscientists studying the neural correlates of consciousness, that is the biological basis of our conscious experience, argue that deja vu is a genuine perceptual experience. A hallucination is a perception in the absence of an external stimulus. Here's what they found. First, deja vu activates the same brain regions as actual memories. It's a real feeling of having already experienced the present moment in the past. Well, scientists don't know for sure, but they suspect that it happens when there is a mismatch between the speed of processing in different parts of the brain. For example, one study found that people were more likely to experience deja vu when they were sleep deprived. Another study found that people were more likely to experience deja vu when they were under stress. Specifically, it happens when the brain processes sensory information faster than it can encode the information into a coherent, conscious experience. For example, some people report having deja vu before they have a seizure. And hey, if you want to learn more about the psychology of consciousness, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll even discover what causes deja vu. This is because seizures can cause changes in brain activity that lead to a feeling of familiarity. Or, what's the science behind lucid dreaming? Check out these videos to find out more. Thanks for watching. In rare cases, deja vu can also be a symptom of a brain tumor or other neurological condition. If you experience deja vu regularly, or if it's accompanied by other symptoms, it's important to see a doctor to rule out any underlying medical conditions. This can happen for a variety of reasons, such as attentional lapses, changes in arousal or stress, and variations in brain states like sleepiness. Some scientists think it's simply a feeling of familiarity, while others believe it's a genuine perceptual experience. There is evidence to support both of these views. Ultimately, more research is needed to determine what causes deja vu and why it happens to some people more than others. All these factors can affect the speed of processing in different parts of the brain, leading to the type of mismatch that produces This is because the brain regions that are activated during deja vu are the same brain regions that are involved in storing and retrieving memories. This is also why deja vu can be induced artificially by stimulating these brain regions with TMS. And this is also why people who experience more deja vu have more activity in these brain regions when they at rest. Finally, this is also why people who experience more deja vu have more white matter integrity in these brain regions. One study found that people who experience more deja vu are more creative, as measured by a standard creativity test. The researchers believe that this may be because deja vu is associated with more flexible and open thinking. People who experience more deja vu may be better at using creative thinking skills like imagination and insight. This is supported by another study, which found that people who experience more deja vu are more open to new experiences and ideas. They're also more creative and have a greater sense of aesthetic appreciation. White matter is the part of the brain that connects different regions together. So more white matter integrity means that the brain regions involved in memory are more connected, which could make it easier for the brain to retrieve memories of past experiences. Second, deja vu can be induced artificially by stimulating these same brain regions with transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS. Third, people who experience more deja vu have more activity in these same brain regions when they at rest. And fourth, people who experience more deja vu have more white matter integrity in these same brain regions. For example, when someone is having a psychotic episode, they might see something that isn't actually there. Deja vu, on the other hand, is not a perception in the absence of an external stimulus. Rather, it's a perception that is accompanied by an external stimulus. For example, when you see a face in the crowd that you feel like you've seen before, the face is there. You're not hallucinating it. You just have the feeling that you've seen it before. It's not just a feeling of familiarity, it's a real feeling of having already experienced the present moment in the past. Deja vu is often accompanied by a sense of familiarity or of knowing something before it happens. You have the feeling that you've seen the future, and somehow you already know what's going to happen next. They say that we often mistake familiarity with memory. So, for example, when you meet someone new, you may get a sense that you've met them before because you've seen someone who looks like them, or maybe you've had an experience that reminds you of them. However, our memory researchers claim that these feelings of familiarity are not actually memories of the past. Instead, they're just our brains making connections between new experiences and stored memories. these connections can sometimes be very strong, leading us to feel like we're rehaving a memory when we really just experiencing a feeling of familiarity. There's a sense of inevitability about it all, like there was no other possible outcome. Stick around till the end of this video, and ILL reveals some fascinating research that will change the way you look at déjà vu forever. You are watching this report. Déjà vu means already seen in French and Italian. In 1977, some scientists think déjà vu may be caused by parallel processing, which is when the brain processes information along multiple pathways simultaneously. For example, when you read a sentence, your brain processes the words in parallel, allowing you to understand the sentence more quickly than if you read each word in isolation. Similarly, your brain could process sensory information from the environment in parallel, allowing you to perceive things more quickly. When the brain processes information very quickly, the conscious mind may not be able to keep up. It may interpret the fast processing as a sign that the brain has accessed information about the event from the past, creating a feeling of déjà vu. Psychologists who study human memory argue that déjà vu is simply a misattribution of familiarity. But does this mean that déjà vu is nothing more than a trick of the mind? Well, not exactly. Now, it's important to clarify that the déjà vu experience isn't a hallucination. Now, here's where things get interesting. The neuroscientists studying the biological basis of déjà vu have discovered some fascinating findings using brain imaging technology like fMRI and EEG. So, what does all this mean? Well, it suggests that déjà vu is not just a feeling of familiarity. So what causes déjà vu? In fact, there is some evidence that déjà vu is more likely to occur when we under stress or in an altered state of consciousness, like when we're sleepy. While déjà vu is usually harmless, it can sometimes be a sign of something more serious. Even though déjà vu has been studied for decades, it's still not fully understood. Interestingly, there's also some research suggesting that déjà vu may be related to creativity. So the next time you experience déjà vu, take a moment to appreciate the amazing complexity of the human brain and the mysteries that still remain to be solved. Speaking of the mysteries of the human brain, have you ever wondered what it means when you dream about someone often?